Mike Newman, thanks so much for coming down to Has-Beens today.
You're welcome, Charles. Thank you for having me here. And I can't help but comment on the picture right in back of me over my right shoulder. Looks like a debate is going on there. A debate that you talk about things, differences, exchange ideas, and that's what my candidacy is about.
Yeah, please let the folks know at home and on the internet, why are you running for 3rd Ward seat on the Eureka City Council?
Well, once again, I'm an insurance advisor broker for Sean Peterson Insurance here in Eureka. Have been for the past 8 years. I was an Allstate insurance agent for 15 years, had my own agency that I started from scratch. Built it up, sold it, took a year off, looked around, decided that I wanted to go to work and do insurance work for a commercial insurance agency here in town. The reason that I'm running right now is I believe that this is the best time in my life in order to give back to the community. I have 2 children that have pretty much been raised here in Eureka, not in Humboldt County, but in Eureka. That's where we've lived this entire time since 1983. I believe that this is the time that I can give back to my community with my time and efforts and part of the City Council. And I believe that this is a time that the business community needs an advocate in their ball field, and that's what I believe I can do as well.
Jumping right into public safety, what's your assessment of Gar Nielsen as Chief of Police? He's been on the job for about 3.5 years now.
Well, I haven't been able to assess completely everything there, but I know that the POP program is important, and I say POP with a P-O-P, not P-O-T. But a POP program seems to be working very well, and I believe if we can keep that going, that would be still a huge asset on our part here. Gar seems to be doing okay. I'll be able to assess better once I'm in office.
And as far as the POP program, is that your funding priority if elected and if you're serving over the next 4 years?
I can't say a priority, but it is a very important part. When you're proactive in things, that is very much like what I do with insurance, with risk management. You want to try and bring the risk down as much as you can. You will still have risks, there will still be problems, there will still be a need for the police department. But when you bring and address those concerns down at the very first, that's a smaller price to pay.
And as far as the funding needs of the city in general, obviously we're facing a structural budget deficit that are pushing for a sales tax to try to make up some of that gap. Is sales tax increase, the one on the ballot this November, the way to go? Would you seek alternative revenue generating measures, or do you think further cuts are necessary?
I think a combination of all of that is necessary. The increased taxes is not the way to go. It could be a stopgap for right now. The way to do this right is to increase our sales tax, and by increasing sales tax you attract businesses to our area, and that's the way that you attack the budget. You need to expand it. This area has been decreasing with retail trade as well as manufacturing and other well-paying living wage jobs for families, hence our elementary schools closing and people moving away. That's one of the other reasons why I am in this campaign is my kids are still here, but they're having a hard time finding good jobs. My daughter's okay. My son is having a struggle. He's 27, and it's hard for him to stay. He's gone back to school now, but he's still having to make it on his own. And it's hard to find a good wage job in the area. So that's what we have to do, Charles, and to the voters out there that are watching this. We need to increase our sales tax base, and by doing that, we will increase our budget to be able to pay for those priority items.
Okay, so we're just talking about public safety. So are you definitely then for Measure O, the sales tax increase, only because it has that 5-year sunset measure?
Well, that would be the only reason that I would be for it. I believe that if at all possible, if I'm elected in there and it passes in November, that I would work on getting it stopped much sooner than 5 years. To expand in our sales tax is the key thing. We can attract the businesses in. There's too many people still living here that the goods and services, mainly goods here, are not available except through the internet, through the phone, or going out of the area to buy it. We don't have the complete variety that people desire. We need to expand that. The public will go to the stores that serve them best. Being an ex-retailer, that's what brought me up into this area.
And so then, as far as the balloon track plans, they want to put a pretty massive retail development, also with some office space, some live-work space, second floor above first floor retail space. Do you think Measure N is the way to go, and is it going to succeed in its stated goals of bringing in $2 million in sales tax revenue, property tax revenue for the city?
We need to have that balloon track cleaned up now. We need to do that. We've sat on it way too long. It needs to be cleaned up now, and I believe it needs to be developed. With what that development may be, I'm not certain, but this I know. What has been put out there for the development right now is a good plan. 11 acres of that 40 plus acres, I'm not sure the exact size of that tract, is set aside for the wetlands to be, Clark Slough to be reclaimed. It's been languishing. There is nothing there. It's trash. It's been that way since I moved here in '83. And we need to get the whole area cleaned up now and developed. I believe that, yes. And by having other retailers here, it will make our current retailers more expansive. They will survive. As long as they look to who they're serving, they will keep their customers. We will only keep our dollars here instead of going out of town to Del Norte, to Redding, to Santa Rosa.
And when you say cleanup, some say a full cleanup versus the cleanup proposed by Security National, Cleanup Eureka 6, are two different things. What does the term cleanup mean to you, and how comprehensive does it have to be?
Well, I believe that the cleanup that was passed by the Water Resource Board, which is the one that was to go on right now to get the development done, to clean it up, would be sufficient. It does an extensive job. There are the naysayers that say it's not enough. Well, I believe it does quite a bit of a job of cleaning up, so I believe that can be done. I don't know what happened with the Costco lot over there. It got done. I believe that most people in the area is very appreciative of having Costco here in our area, and that's along the same type of land and waterfront. They're not exactly on the waterfront like this balloon track is, but they're close by. It was land that was industrial, that was used heavily with things. I believe it was cleaned up to the extent that it needs to be cleaned up in order to be developed. We don't need more stuff going into our bay. We need to get the cleanup done now.